always goes up the stairs. Didn't you see True Lies? Jumped off a building.
Dude,
So
Look,
your Bretonian got off the horse to go inside the building.
yeah, my Grail Knights had to dismount.
What'd you do with the horse?
Dismounted the Grail Knights?
Nothing. They all just stood outside of the tower. It wasn't a true dismount. They were just standing outside the tower, and then they were in the...
How do you true dismount a horse?
I don't know, father.
Did you pull your models off the horse?
Fuck no.
Was the Grail inside the building?
What? Yeah. He had to go in the building.
So
Did you get the Grail?
So the Grail was in the building, confirmed.
Yes, I won. I won the game. Me.
That's different
Who'd
than
you
the
beat?
Grail being in the building.
Dwarf player.
No, it wasn't the
Okay,
Grail.
now
though.
you're picking
Big
on
Grail.
little kids, so it's not even a real army.
Yeah.
I mean, his was. You know what I mean?
I don't know. Probably not.
Did it have more than 4 units?
Yeah, I did.
Well, he's not trying hard enough.
Yeah. Crutches. He was playing with crutches.
We're live now. We've been live for a couple minutes.
Oh, okay, good. So we're just gonna shit on Grail Knights. Got it.
Oh yeah, definitely. I like the. Gotta love this soft start.
Got it.
Were they painted?
Was my army for LVO painted?
So when you took the Grail Knights off, was it painted in that space in between the Grail Knight and the horse?
Ooh,
I didn't remove them from the model.
because he didn't paint. He didn't
How'd you
paint
dismount the horse?
Because the judge came over and said that they could go in there, but the horses couldn't attack in combat. It was bullshit, all right? Y'all are arguing semantics.
Were you allowed to go 10 wide if you're infantry?
Yeah, you were, because
Then you have
LVO was
nothing to
ran
fucking complain about.
correctly.
You have no gripe. You have no.
Yes,
you have no gripe.
yes, you're right. I have no complaints about my units of 6 max fucking Bretonian army going 10 wide. You're correct.
How many knights went in the building?
How could they take that from me?
How many knights went in the building?
Fucking the 5 in the unit.
So the real question is, could they use lances while
No,
dismounted
They
in the
didn't.
building?
I wasn't allowed to use lances.
They should be
How'd you get
pikes
it?
at that point. That's bullshit.
Yeah.
I mean, I killed fucking 10 dwarves in there, so...
How'd you kill 10 dwarves?
Weapons. Because Grail Knights are still Grail Knights.
Because he does it because he had more than 4 units. You don't
No,
kill
because
dwarves
Grail
if
Knights
they're all in
are
one
still-
unit.
Grail
What
Knights.
kind of dwarves were you fighting?
This is actually good. It's actually on topic. This is
He
great.
had 2 gyrocopters. He had...
Did you get to take his gyrocopter in the building?
No. It was
Yeah,
only
it's not
like... It was only like infantry, which is why when I was like, how the fuck am I going to get in the building? And the guy was like, well, I guess your horses can't, but your knights can.
Or I guess you just fucked. Should have taken infantry.
Yeah, but then...
Bretonian army.
Okay, but...
Yeah. Who brings all knights in a Bretonian army?
I brought 30
See, those
fucking minute arms,
dismounted
but then they were like, oh, only a unit of 10 can go in the building, and I was like, well, that's fucking dumb.
Those dismounted knights
just
would have been
park
pretty dope in that scenario.
You just parked your Pegasus knights in the handicap zone or what? And then they walked in.
No, I killed his entire army.
Did you still get barding while you're off your horse?
No, but he didn't have a chance to fight back.
But in theory, if you fought back, you would lose an armor save value because you got off your horse because of bad.
Okay, so now I'm a 3-up, 4-up with a 5-up ward, 3-up or 6-up ward, 5-6.
If you're not on a horse, how do you get the blessing of the lady? Like that's.
I think you
Yeah,
would
Grail
lose
Knights-
Grail Knights don't lose the blessing of the lady.
Well,
They can't.
Girl Knights have
You
never
only
gotten
got
off a horse before.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
the horse isn't getting the blessing, guys. Y'all are like what?
That's like a
The
wood
horse
elf
can't
chopping down a
pray.
tree, dude. Why would
Yeah,
wood
the
elves
horse-
chop down trees?
A horse can't, because
Yeah,
they don't
'cause
chop down
from
trees.
what
What are
I
you talking
heard,
about?
real men don't take foot knights, and you got off your horse, so you're putting yourself into question here.
Yeah,
I didn't say real men. I said good players don't take foot knights.
and you
Oh, so
took
what's
your.
that
Come at
make
me.
you?
So you're not a good
Come
player
at me.
because you dismounted your Grail Knights. And
They
they
didn't
became foot
dismount.
knights. Then they.
You said you got off your horse.
You just said they got off
Physically,
their horse.
they were there, living their life. All
Yeah,
right.
without their rider on them.
Why
Yeah.
are you focusing on the horse in this unit? Why is everything from your point of view horse focused?
I like horses. We have a Clydesdale. My family has a Clydesdale. I'm really worried about the care of
Yeah.
your Bretonian horses.
God, dude. Maybe it's just like a
Horse like that.
fucking.
Like we're gonna get
Look
a
at
hippo.
this fucking braggadocious. But I got a horse.
Okay, well at least I don't get off mine.
He doesn't have a horse. He has a
Braggadocious even
Clydesdale.
What's that word?
Yeah, he's Clydesdale. Sorry, he's got Clydesdale. No,
Clydesdale, bud.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
No,
a drink.
no.
Okay, they make Budweiser comes out of his ass. That's how that works.
Is that why your family bought it?
Yeah, actually, more accurately, his piss would be Budweiser, and that would be very accurate. I wouldn't be surprised. So, anyways, welcome back to Old World Late Night, and we totally have topics to talk about today.
Is that what we're going with?
Yeah, that's what we're going for.
Old World Late Night,
right? Like late night shows are just a bunch of bullshit. We just got
Old World Finder.
Old World Footfinder. You know, if we ever get any money, we can pay people to be on our show. It'll be great. Yes.
We can actually get good too.
All right. So, we have journalistic standards.
No, we do not.
Well, with those journalistic standards, we're gonna steal something from another podcast that Nate posted at like 8 a.m. today with zero fucking context.
It was 9 o'clock at night in Australia, though.
Ooh.
You were citing our sources.
Well, okay, so this is Old World Fanatics. A whole 27 people, so they have 27,000 times, 27% greater than us. Infinite amount of viewers.
170%.
Yeah,
more people who like their shit than us.
They are by far way more popular than us. So what am I looking at in this very foggy text? And why is there circle bases? Okay, I won't judge. Okay, keep going. Also, I want to figure out how they do that layout with the boxes. I don't know how to do that.
They probably bought a program that can run on a computer, which you don't have.
Yeah, they probably have a computer that's not.
I have a computer.
Not from the 80s.
But I have a horse.
Hey, do you still have that ski game? You know, the Microsoft 92 one?
I didn't know Flash games were dead. Did you know Flash games don't exist?
Yeah, Flash games have been dead, man.
Wait, so before we go into this, I have something very important to tell you that I learned today.
Okay.
So when you're gaming, or when you're in a communal space and somebody is about a decade younger than you, because there's a lot of those weirdos out there. When they do something stupid, when they do something stupid, or when you want to diss them, I got a superb diss.
Okay.
Cut them some slack. They're from the No Child Left Behind education era.
That's fucking rude.
That is bomb. That is bomb.
That's
rude. A diss. That's a
yeah.
diss and a half right there.
How do we bring George W. Bush into this? You know what I mean?
Mission accomplished, guys. Mission accomplished. You did it.
Yep. Get your fucking participation trophy, loser.
So whenever you're mad at one of the youths that you're playing Old World with, because they can't understand the complexities of the game, just remember it's not their fault. They're from No Child Left Behind education era.
Can I use that at work?
I don't think so.
I don't think in official positions you should use that. All right, let's go into this. What am I looking at, Nate?
This is a picture of a picture from the internet.
Hell yeah. Fucking, we are on top of it.
With super secret, behind a paywall information on it from a deep source in Warhammer World. Talking about...
Should we get my InfoWars, telephone, like the little hat?
No, as long as you're taking your supplements, all right.
Well, I didn't say
frogs don't get turned gay.
Defog this picture. So
this
you
didn't steal it. You stole it from somebody who stole it.
Yes.
So we're 100%. Good. We're good. Okay. Journalistic standards upset. Okay, we're good. We're good.
And I cited my source. I got picture evidence of the people I stole it from and their logo.
This is great. I mean, this is good. Yeah. This is good. This is good press for everybody.
So what this is telling us right here is Cathay is coming early July. So basically that makes it July 5th because that is the first Saturday. Probably we'll see maybe a pre-release or pre-order, something like that. So that's probably why they're blitzing out all of the last of the old world stuff.
Segues very nicely into what just happened this last week with the Wood Elves and Beastmen dump. I think that's what you can call it. Just a pump and dump. I think High Elves released and a month later we got our plastic White Lions, right?
Yep.
Were any units redone in plastic that weren't plastic before in Wood Elves or Beastmen?
No. The only thing they got were a special character each, which were probably made at the beginning of everything. They got the resin wizards with the familiars.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, the high elves got the most treatment of anything with the Island of Blood refreshes, the 3 units.
Hey,
And
Empire though. Empire got the bomb wagon that was for sale for 45 seconds.
No, they
And now no one
re-released,
else
and yeah.
And now no one else can ever buy it in the history of wargaming.
yeah, it basically just increased the eBay value of it. That's all that really happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, great.
I love that.
Good thing I didn't want one.
From eBay to 500. That's about all it did.
Oh, I love that.
For the lucky few who got it for 200 off of GW.
I'm gonna sell my Empire army that's sitting there. I don't like it anymore.
I'm gonna sell my Empire army solely because I can't get a war wagon.
Yep. Yeah. Smart move.
It was a smart move. And better Empires coming out in Cathay.
Oh, don't dirty Cathay like that. don't.
Good.
Hey,
don't put that on them.
What's great about Cathay is everyone can freehand the writing on their miniatures now.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
It reminds me of my 40K purity seals where I just do squiggly lines because it's 28mm purity seal. Yeah.
So it's like it's gonna be like people are gonna be like Googling cool Chinese words to like write on their blimp, and it's gonna be totally wrong.
Nope, I'm fucking Googling chicken soup and shit like that. I'm gonna make it comical.
Chicken soup.
Pork dumplings. That shit's going on, my boys.
Pork dumplings. Oh my god, for the blimps. Oh, I like that. That's dangerous. All right, and then there was like something hidden in there with rules updates. Right here.
Yeah, there was a few rules.
You zoom in. Oh my god, it Whoa. Oh, it got less blurry when I zoomed in.
Wow.
But now you can see our sources. Oh, look at this guy was just waking up in the States. Looking for Beastman leaks. Yep, he's not going to get them. So anyways, possible adjustments. Possible adjustments to skirmishers. And Linehammer. See, maybe the GT I went to was years above its life because no Linehammer if you can't go further than 10 wide. You heard it here. That's what's going to happen in Old World, right?
I hope not. I hope not.
Adjustment to reduce the dominance of mounted lords.
Yeah, so dragons.
Yep. So Seth, those are lords that are on horses and don't get off their horses for any other.
Yeah, undismounted.
Non-dismounted.
I am going to religiously beat y'all at the next tournament we go to for this.
Florida, right? The one in Florida.
Whatever happens, I don't know. Whichever one we end up at, I swear to God, y'all are just. I'm bringing the most cancer, toxic shit, and I'm gonna build it solely around the list that y'all practice with.
Don't do that. Don't do that. I will get Pablo. I have Pablo on speed dial.
And then show up and on
You little pork dumpling blimp.
Call him. You can't just throw Pablo around. All right.
Hey, I met him in real life, and we talked for at least 10 minutes. So we're basically best friends.
Yeah. So we pretty much see each other naked.
Basically, I mean, I'm surprised we haven't. Wait, have we?
Hey, that's what we
I don't know. There was a lot of drinking at that tournament. I don't know. We could have.
Or maybe you should call Pablo.
I know. What's Pablo doing? We'll get him on when we actually have like something actually to talk to him about. Not waste his time with this bullshit.
Dude,
okay.
Here's a funny thing. Since we're talking about Old World fanatics and the Aussies, is they have something called Aussie Comp, right? And they comped the ever-loving crap out of Old World. And you know what it did? It basically made a 20-man tournament Chaos versus Empire.
Hell yeah, brother.
Okay, how did they comp,
you could play were Chaos and Empire that were actually worth a shit.
How did they comp it, though? What'd they do?
Google Aussie Comp. It's just like a bunch of, like, no flyers, no special items, fucking skirmishers are shit, peg knights are dead, everything.
No, tip your waitresses, don't comp your tournaments. We're making shirts.
Yeah.
That's our logo. That's on our shirts. Tip your waitresses, comp your tournaments. Don't comp.
That's a pretty good shirt. I'm not gonna lie. That's actually a pretty good shirt.
Right? Okay. Maybe if I have motivation to do anything with my life this week, I'll make a shirt and I'll post it.
All right, let me know.
Yeah. Or we can get that in a hockey jersey too. Nate wants some hockey sweaters.
A fucking
I want hockey jerseys, and I want the name on the back to say comp free.
Oh.
Shit. Oh my God, dude.
Let us be free. Let gamers be free.
Oh man.
Oh, you know how like
and then Dan's back of his hockey jersey will say 10 wide.
Dude,
that could be used in multiple contexts.
I feel like this is actually Dan's plan. Like it's to get famous enough in YouTube to where he could just sell shirts that juxtapose what he doesn't believe in. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, I guess I'm not sharing my thing, but Boromir. Boromir's on screen right now.
Boromir?
Yeah, my tortoise.
His big old turtle.
Yo, he was like, you know how like cats make like little biscuits on you? Like they go on you and they make little biscuits? Like they knead on you?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, that Boromir was doing that to my foot. It was kind of weird. He was like kneading me with his foot, with his face.
Wait, you fed him?
I think he's just telling you he's hungry, dude.
No. He just ate. I just shoved a bunch of like papaya and stuff in a plastic tube, right? And then he like puts his head in there, and it goes like all the way in the tube, and he pulls it out. It's so cool. He's a bro. I think he's just happy right now, which is good. He's a rescue. So.
Where'd you rescue him from?
Well, some dickhead got him and literally gave him to the pet store. So he's got like a little bit of pyramiding on the top of his shell. It's not bad, but like if tortoises are neglected, they get like really big pyramids, right? Because they're not like grinding against like the dirt and other stuff that would normally chip away at
wear them down.
Yeah, but there's your tortoise fact for the day.
Yeah, good to know. Good to know if I ever
except a pyramid tortoise. So a pyramid tortoise has natural pyramiding because it's called a pyramid tortoise.
You should get him a homie and name him Cetra.
Well, he has a brother at the pet store that I didn't get because I didn't have $200, and I like to think that brother is Faramir. So I picked Boromir. I love Faramir at the pet store because Boromir is superior. I guess that may be Denethor though. Yeah. I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah.
But eventually we're gonna get his brother, and then you gotta go. They gotta be in pods of 3 though, 2 females and a dude. If it's 2 dudes and a female, the female will just be like overwhelmed.
You got a Mormon tortoise?
One male tortoise.
A Mormon tortoise.
They are. Yeah,
Mormon tortoise.
Oh shit!
And you got to give them enough space so they can escape from each other. You know. Okay, so enough tortoises. Let's talk about vortices. Oh man, I crushed that.
Oh, whoa. What a segue!
I would.
Wow.
We did it, boys. We're becoming a podcast. Give it up.
Oh no.
Or whatever this is. What do you say, like, to your like 2 other friends that you have? What do you say that we do here? It's not a podcast. This is a vlog.
You think I tell people about this?
Probably not.
No,
I tell people for years to read my blog, and people still don't know. People still don't read my blog.
Yeah. I tell nobody, so that way if they find me, I'm gonna get Bieber famous.
Ooh, okay.
So with that,
so it's like it'll be like a treasure. I'll be the treasure that someone found.
Oh,
I think that the first time someone ever call you treasure, I guess.
Yeah.
I think we beat this stolen slide to death, right? Vortices are going to change. Pillar of Fire probably is not going to be just point and shoot. And what was the other thing you said, Nate, about the wizards not being able to run away?
Yeah, you something like they're saying, like you cast a spell, but you dispel the vortex. But I think that was just all them like theorying. But this is from some source at Warhammer World. If you read it and zoom in, so this guy's been pretty on point on previous posts he's made with this group. So it's pretty solid information for leakage information. And then in a couple other groups, people have started saying that YouTubers have started getting their Cathay models for future viewing. This YouTube channel is just too famous to get free stuff from GW, so we didn't get anything.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and I'm really just lying. I got like a whole bunch of shit in the other room that I just can't show you on this screen because I can't afford a camera.
You can't afford a camera. Seth can't afford a camera or horses for his mates.
I have a camera. It's just packed up. All right.
You dismounted off the camera too? Is that what we're going with? Okay.
You ain't gonna buy another camera. I already got one camera.
And I have a $2 laptop. This is great. We're doing great, guys. All right. So Cathay's coming.
The show is the only one that's good to be seen. We're just random AI generated voices in the background.
This is true. No one else sees my face. All right. So we got
So
the
we got
summer rules
July
update.
5th.
We got list theory. Man, I was like super pumped because this like whiteboard feature, but then I can't find my like little e-pen stupid thing. So now I'm super unpumped. But let's talk about list theory real quick. I guess real quick. That's the point of today's show, I guess.
List
So,
theory. What are we theorying on the list?
no. List theory in general. So
Oh.
when you sit down to build an old world army, right? You're thinking maybe a couple things. If you're a loser like me, you're thinking theme, right?
Definitely theme.
Like there's a lot of decisions that happen because of theme. See previous episode on Bear NATO. After you after you've decided your theme, I would say it's almost kind of based on what army you're playing, but this is where you have like points denial, right?
Points denial. Yeah, that's a good theme.
Right, like
I don't.
like you have to.
My
So
step.
let me take a step back. So you have to ask yourself, how am I going to win the game, right?
Yeah,
Or
steps to winning the
you
game.
should be asking yourself how you win the game. So we have this thing. We love military theorists love triangles. Let me tell you.
Ooh,
So I'm going to build you guys a triangle.
strong shape, dude.
It's a strong shape. Okay, I want this marker. Thank you. You're making me look silly now. Okay, there we go.
Yeah, Dan got a C in military theory.
Hey, but he still
He
passed.
degrees.
Still passed.
Right? So here is one way that you can look at warfare. Like, and I think this applies just like at the conceptual level, right? So you can reach out and touch somebody with strike, right? So strike would be like aircraft, artillery, reach out and touch somebody, right?
Oh, so shooting.
Yeah, and then it could also be, close combat, right? Close combat
Okay.
being in range for your main weapon systems for your infantry divisions, right? Protection, right? So protecting, being in a position that protects your assets. So these are all going to be different sizes, and I love that for me. And then
Getting like a whole lesson.
the last one's maneuver, and that is maneuvering, right? It's exactly what you think it is. So I can't spell, so this is great. I love this for
All
me.
right.
Good thing we're
Yeah.
doing this live. All right.
Yeah.
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 Why don't you hit spell check?
I did. I just did it. Thank you.
Hmm.
All right. So here are your three things you can do. You can protect, you can strike, and you can maneuver. The problem is there's like tension between the three, so you can't do all three at the same time. You have to exist in this theory somewhere between the two. Right? So if you want to strike and protect yourself, you're going to give up your ability to maneuver around the battlefield. Right? Because inherently there's tension between maneuver and protect. If you want to strike and maneuver, right? So think about, doing an artillery bombardment and coming in and hitting somebody. You're going to lose some level of protection. Now, you can go patent and say, the best defense is a good offense, right? But just inherently, to maneuver on the battlefield is to not be as protected, right? So if this is a valid theory, which it is in military theory, that you can strike and protect and maneuver, and you do two really good at the sacrifice of one, can we use this paradigm to work with Old World and list when we're constructing a list? And I think we can. I just need help building it. Otherwise, I would have came more prepared. I'm gonna build a really good triangle. Oh, the Egyptians would be so proud of this triangle.
Yeah. Okay. Really straight on one side and looks like it got wind damage on the other.
Yeah, I mean that's just how the lizard people wanted it when they said, "Hey, make us this triangle."
The old ones.
The old world. Oh, was it the old ones?
What are we gonna call?
Are we circling back?
No. So if, in this theory of strike, maneuver, and protect, what do you think we could talk about for? Do you think points denial will be one of the three tenets, or no?
Yeah, points denial could be because it's gonna be maneuver, protection.
At first, I was thinking in the lines of like MSU,
MSU is going to be maneuver and strike.
Death
No
Star.
protection.
Okay, I like that. Okay, so maybe. Okay,
The
maybe
points
we
now,
go.
you can move that over to like the
Maybe.
strike or the protection and maneuver side of the triangle.
Oh, I like where you guys are going with this. So I was thinking of making of new tenants, but we don't need
What's
to
gonna be
make
on the
new
bottom?
tenants. We don't need new tenants. We just apply the theory that is being
Yeah.
used to old world. So that would be
Yeah,
the
Yeah, but
points.
there it works.
Yeah. Okay.
points now is not going to be strike and protection. It's going to be a maneuver and protection.
Maneuver and protection for strike denial,
Yeah,
or for.
bottom. Yeah, because MSU is going to be strike and maneuver. Protection and strike is going to be like Empire Gunline.
Okay. Do you think? Do you think a gunline army is a points denial army?
No, it's more protection and strike because you're not because you can't deny points in a gunline because inherently you're going to lose points just by shooting. And it's soft. Like you want to destroy the big monsters, so you want to use 100-point items to decimate 500-point items, but at the sacrifice of the 100-point items.
I don't know why I did gunline capitalized. Right, because I feel like, you know, I don't know, man. Like, I feel like I watch YouTube a lot, and I watch a lot of people, and they wax and wane poetically about how to build your deck and how to build your army list and all this
Mm-hmm.
other stuff. But I don't think there's like a lexicon of terms that everyone can use, so we're all talking about the same
Mm-hmm.
shit. So that's kind of like what I want to do here, and then like as we have better discussions further on, like we have this fallback of like here's what we defined as a gun line.
Yeah, points denial, MSU. What else is there?
So maneuver strike would be MSU.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
But there's no protection. Like anything that touches an MSU or unit will just die. Like the MSU unit
Yeah,
dies.
you have
That's
to
the whole point, though.
use. It's almost like that their version of protection is their maneuverability, right? Once they
Mm-hmm.
actually make contact, they're donezo.
Well, it's more like
Mm-hmm.
you get to pick what's fighting what. You're in control of the battlefield with
Yeah.
an MSU army.
I'm gonna hate myself for that, but we're gonna do that. Okay. So,
Brother.
man, what do you think a gun? What like? So if I'm new to the old world, right? And I'm like, I want to build a list, and you're like, oh, do you want to be a gun line? What would you say a gun line is? Like, how would you describe what a gunline army is?
It's an army that plays in a manner that wants to retract or reduce the amount of points in your opponent before a certain point in the game, right? Because like that's the whole point is like the gun line is you need to do enough damage before they get to you. So when they start doing damage, the points you've taken are more than the points they will take
Yeah.
sweeping you. Because once a gun line's touched, they're gone.
Yeah, they can be touched, but it's like here's like the theory like behind gunline is let's like take 10 cold one nights. You need to be able to reduce the cold one nights to like one or two models so that way when they do charge your 10 handgunners, you have a chance to actually like
Yeah.
do damage. To like survive that combat.
Or, you have now paid for those handgunners with the 8 of 10 cold one nights, right? Like
Straight
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, and then the other 2 units of handgunners finish off that cold one night unit. So you're trading 100 points for 300 plus points.
Yeah.
So if we're like just gonna go like not maneuverable, trade up with shooting
Mm-hmm.
units, you're almost like playing against the clock. And what I mean
Correct.
is, you're not necessarily always gonna table people, but you're playing in that construct of a 5 round or 6 round game, right? You're
Yeah.
relying on time running out of the game, not slow playing, because Pablo will come find you and kill you. You're not slow playing. You're
No, you can't. In a gunline, you can't slow play. You need to have
you
turns.
need, but yeah,
it,
but you're also like if the game went infinite turns in old
You lose.
world, you would lose, right? Because
gun lines lose 100% of the time.
you would go through the army, you go through the one unit, you would end up on the backfield, and the way it's turning and facing works. So So time is like I want to say it's like a run out the clock army, but
It's, I mean, I think the way that, like, what you're trying to get at is like you, when you play a gun line, you give up the ability to control where combat will happen.
Oh yeah, you're at the whim.
I think that's what we're like. I think that's the point we're all kind of like teasing right now, right? Because like you can shoot and try to reduce, but at the same time, if someone is walking a brick of spearmen, those spearmen are going to decide where they're going. You will not. There's no amount of shooting that will dictate where that unit goes.
okay. I don't know how to work.
Because I think I think I think we should move away from triangle and go more into like what the fuck is it? The overlapping fucking circles. I can't remember.
Yep, I got you.
Oh yeah.
Because like strike itself, right? Like we're putting hybrids here. We're pushing right now this idea that everything is hybrid, but in reality, we can go deeper. Like protection is, I have 1,500 points in a brick of dwarves, right? Like you have now given up the ability to strike and maneuver for the ability to take a hit and just not move.
Yeah.
And then strike would be like, for me, Bretonnian Grail Knights. You have the ability to dictate, you have the ability to wipe something off the board, but you have given up any sort of protection and maneuverability to that extent. Like, yeah, you are fast, but you're going to hit one unit, and if they are positioned correctly, your Bretonnians are dead the next turn.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, maneuverability, maybe like Skycutter Chariots, Great Eagles, flyer armies, super heavy flyer armies, where Wood Elf would be my idea of a maneuverable army. You're kind of not doing anything. I mean, every Wood Elf army that I've seen, and even the Wood Elf armies we've theory crafted, don't do much. They just do it enough.
Okay, I like that. Yeah. Right? Okay, so there's a inherent difference between an Empire gun line and you wouldn't call a Wood Elf gun line the same because they operate
No.
Like on paper you'd be like, I have an army that all shoots. I want to shoot you and win the game. Except in one army you're sitting there delivering massive blows, and another army you're just kind of like, you're probably playing against the clock.
Almost inside the triangle. That's why they're like the oddity, because it's like strike.
Yeah, we don't need a triangle, but it's just a good.
But they don't really strike though. Like, and that's like
they strike.
There's no Wood Elf army that I think that is viable that I've seen that can just take away half of an army in a turn.
No, they're like death by 1,000 cuts.
Yeah. Exactly. Where an Empire army, if your cannons pop off and you got 3 mortars, you can decimate a good 500 points.
So is it like? I mean, again, this is only a model, right? So it doesn't just useful until it's not. Oh my god, I can't do that. We're deleting the triangle. But it would exist inside the triangle. Like all armies would exist inside the triangle.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, yeah, we could do it like that, right? Like the old school like stat.
Yeah.
Fucking things. You know, you're a strike 1, protection 3, maneuverability, 2, and it creates more of like a amorphic blob.
Yeah. Oh my god, there's a thing that does straight lines. This is glorious.
Oh man, we're just learning everything today, dude.
Yeah, we're flying.
What's this program you're using from Windows 95?
What are you talking about? This is Canva. This is like the legitest program in the history of legit programs.
Is it?
Yeah, Canva is dope.
I have used Canva for school projects.
I'm just using it like an idiot. It's just me. Hi, I'm the problem. It's me.
Hi, it's me back again.
Hi, God, it's me, Dan again.
Hey, we're doing it, dude.
No, I got
next time we'll have these triangles drawn out.
Nah, yeah. This is entertaining. This is what the people want to see. Let's draw triangles. Well, I think that's symmetrical.
The graphic department for decisive operations is underpaid.
Yeah, well,
That's right. That's right.
I couldn't get my sister to do anything for me in this amount of time, so it's on me, and that kind of sucks. Um, so wood elves, wool elves,
Wool elves?
wool. His teeth were made of wool. The
Oh, this is good. This is good.
is a Big Daddy reference. Is that Big Daddy? Yeah, it's Big Daddy. He's talking about
What
George
else?
I
Washington.
don't know. I don't know what you watch in your private time, dude.
Dude, fucking Robert Schneider is the delivery guy, pizza delivery guy, right? Don't make fun of the pizza delivery guy. It ain't his fault he can't read. He's
Oh
talking about
man.
George Washington, and he said his teeth are made of wool. And he's like, his teeth are made of wool? And he's like, my D's and O's. I get them mixed up. He's like, get it right. All right, what else? Are
What
they
elves are
in
the top of the
top of the pyramid?
Just because you lost them, right?
What?
He's just fucking being a piece of shit. Don't worry about it.
Like that?
Yeah, just keep them at the top of the pyramid. You lost to them.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, it's not a strike, right? It's a fuck. Honestly,
Their
They're like,
maneuverability.
wait. Honestly,
yeah, they're down at the bottom.
it's a maneuver army.
Yeah, it's super maneuverable.
100%.
It doesn't do protection well. It doesn't do striking well.
No.
It just doesn't do anything well. It kills just enough models to get a 16-4 win and make you feel like you wasted your whole time. For the last
Do
2
chaos next.
When you start losing with wood elves, you just run away, and then play for a draw. Like they're the easiest army to draw with.
All right, chaos.
Warriors.
Are we just a Warriors Chaos army?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just like vanilla, right? Like so.
I think you
Yeah,
have.
there's like 9 books.
I think you're at protection with a little bit of strike, but you take. I don't
I
think.
think they're like. I think
zero.
warriors are like in a straight middle, bro. They're maneuverable.
That's what I mean. Like you have high armor values. You have a lot of saves. You have a lot of regions that you can get. Oh god, we're fucking it up.
They're a little bit more a little less maneuverable than most, so you are right.
That's what I mean. Like they should be on the
Slide
line
over.
or touching the
Whoa,
line.
whoa, damn, you're looking up the pyramid.
No, we don't need it. I'm just going over here now.
So more towards.
So like caveat, probably most armies can do more than one of these things. But if you're looking to start an army, there's probably it does one thing better than all the others, right?
I think that when we're looking at these lists, we should go with the assumption of the armies, like what you're gonna see primarily. And for chaos, I think that is at least a dragon that's decked to the fucking nines, and then chaff.
They could be on the far left line of strike and protection because they're probably the best heavy hitters and they're probably the best with the armor.
Yeah, I think that's a good spot.
Yeah.
If I were to go back and church this up, this would be like this line would be cut in half and it'd be 2 colors, right?
Yeah,
it'd be like
100%. They're right in the middle.
and it'd be okay. Yeah. All right. And that's it. That's all the armies in the game.
Yeah, well, with a new meta.
Yeah, right. Aussie rules, Aussie comp. You know what? I didn't even like Aussie rules football. I think there's too many weird rules in that, so it makes sense that Aussie rules.
All right,
old
dwarfs. That's DORF.
Dwarfs.
Dwarves. I gotta make their font smaller, and that's ironic. Okay.
Protection.
You can put Dowie. DAWI.
I mean, just shove it right in that corner.
Yeah, right in the protection corner.
Yeah.
Definitely not maneuverable.
No.
So you can, if you run X Force, right, and this is, I guess, this is like good game design, right, that you have these arcane journals and you can do something different. I would put that unit near Wood Elves in maneuverability if you're talking about X Force, nothing but gyrocopters, right?
Yeah, but again, like, what do you? That's why we need to stick to the assumption.
No, 100%, 100%. I just wanted to bring that up. Like, I think it's good game design because I'm gonna do a lot of shit talking on this game, but I think it's good game design that you have this ability. Yeah, I would say not even strike is good, right? Because
they don't strike.
You have one ruin that's really good if you want to kill something, but it takes away all of your defenses. So it's like,
I'm thinking
Yeah.
like the most killy thing in my army is my king,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly. I
Like,
mean, you could take a unit of hammers, and those are killy. They're
yeah,
very anti-charge
If
killy.
they
It's
ever
just
get to combat.
yeah.
well
But you
that,
like
and then
start if you start taking hammers and do stuff like that, you start like traveling like this,
yeah,
and
Mm-hmm.
they're really good at this, right? So
yeah,
if there was another
yeah.
way to like show this, right? Like doing what they do best is here, and then you stop doing what they do best as you move over here. I guess you can
Yes.
strike with yeah, I guess protection. I'm gonna pump up just a little bit.
I mean, I think right now, like, it's just easy to assume that the two armies with artillery pieces or character pieces that are immovable are immediately in the protection corner, which would be Tomb Kings and Dwarves.
Yeah.
Doom Kings are pretty maneuverable though right now because they have a lot of stuff.
But what we're seeing right now in the Tomb Kings is two coffins, a
Yeah.
sphinx, and then like horse archers. And the only thing that really makes them maneuverable is the magic if they can get that spell off,
Yeah, but they're
which
like
is the reserve
they have the
bonus.
protection because you can't kill them. They have the strike because they have the fucking bow shopty. They have the poison blobs. They have the
So,
freaking range with the spells from the.
well,
They lack maneuverability for sure because they just like to sit. You have to
let's
come to
just go
them.
off non-competitive for this, right? Like if someone's going to build the Tomb King's army,
Yeah, if you're gonna
Build
build,
I
so
don't.
like, I guess yeah. So refine, and it'll be great because I'll probably cut this video somewhere in the middle and make a shorter video when we actually figure out what we're talking about.
Cool.
But it's kind of like, hey, you want to play an army? All things are even, right? You don't care about dwarves or chaos. You care about how
Hmm.
it plays. So I'm gonna push you in the direction to where this army, this is what they naturally do. So you don't feel like you're like hamstrung into a certain type of list to play your certain play style,
Yeah,
right? Like
and
where they
Oh,
excel normally. So
I
move
think it
the
normally is
strike.
just protection.
No, fucking they're strikers.
Yeah, but you have like okay, so like when I think of a striker army, I think of every unit in that army has the ability to do something, and with Tomb Kings, that's just not the case.
I'm
The
gonna
one
But
that doesn't.
I'm gonna put him there, and this
but
can be like when we did the
Spearman,
tier list. This can be like the tier list. Like we can adjust as we go on,
yeah,
as we start, because we're still
Yeah.
like kind of defining, right, the terms. So
Like
great.
I think spearmen don't do anything. I think archers don't do anything. You have to add a lot of bells, whistles, spells to get them to the point where they're doing that. But I think if you're just going to field the Tomb King's army, what you know and what we all know is that they come back and they are hard to remove off the table.
Yep.
oh, that's undead.
Yeah,
Bretonians.
I think
Yeah, they're
that's good.
not. Yeah, that's a good spot.
They would be like the opposite
Maneuver
of
and strike for sure.
I don't
They
say the
also have
opposite of
protection.
chaos,
You could
but like
almost leave them in the middle.
yeah, would they be?
Oh God, you
Yeah,
actually, I'm kind of for the middle.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
almost like the all rounders, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, right
'cause
now,
they have
yeah.
the best saves in the game.
They're kind of
Best
like
saves.
the
They're the
space
most
marines, right?
maneuverable. They
The
hit the
space marines of the
hardest.
game.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, you can get if you're playing just base Bretonians, a 5 up against anything strength 5,
That's
and
pretty
then a
brutal.
6 up against everything else, and then you can get a spell that is 7-11 cast that is either a 5 or a 6 regen. I mean, that's
Yeah, they're good.
Yeah.
damn near everything in that army that's on a horse is a 4 up armor save.
Yeah, and they all are on a horse, and most of them
And
fly.
they're
Well,
all on a
unless you're
horse.
Seth, and then you take him off the horse to go inside of a building.
And I won that game. And y'all keep leaving that part out.
I, you know, just the fact you have to justify it, and that's what makes it disgusting.
All right, so we got next Empire.
Empire.
I think
Strike?
protect, but under chaos when it comes to strike. That's where I think.
They have no protection. They were going to be more strike than chaos because it's like that's all they do. Just punch.
I mean, so yeah.
Yeah, they're all tough 3, freaking just.
Strength 4 weapons.
Yeah, it's like all strike. They're going to be above chaos,
Yeah.
less balanced. They
Yeah.
have less protection.
Yeah.
If you want to talk about gimmicks, they are all gimmicks. They are basically without their magic or their prayers, they're soft.
And honestly, I don't think I've seen any empire take prayers.
No, because of the stuff that has them, it's not that strong, and you can only
Yeah.
prayer one time. Where before you could use all the prayers.
Oh.
They kind of crippled that.
This one's Nate. I don't know where I would place high elves. I've seen so much random shit.
Strike and maneuver. They're going to be like more maneuver, less strike on that right side bar. So slide them close to wood elves, like down the line a little bit. They're going to hit a little. They're going to hit harder than wood elves because they could fight in combat. They could shoot. So they're about right there.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, like I would drag them a little more in the middle because like they do have decent
They're not
armor
in the
saves
middle, but they're
for
more
elves.
on the maneuver side.
Yeah, like I definitely like
one unit.
right there. Well, no, I mean like the base elf is a 4-up, heavy armor shield.
No, a light armor shield, and you have to pay for the shield.
Well, you gotta pay for the shield in every unit.
Not every unit.
Times are tough.
Yeah, inflation, buddy.
Inflation, yeah, it's coming out. It's coming out.
The Beastmans.
I think right there because they can hit hard when they want to, and they move. They are everywhere.
Yeah.
One of the only armies in the game that you can damn near ambush every unit.
Yeah, they're going to be like the mirror of high elves, I think. Like more there's a strike, but still maneuverable because they don't have any cavalry really.
Mirror this way. Okay.
Well, they got Synagors, but you're never going to take that.
How about there?
I think like with the ambush in particular, coming like MSU and almost half their units, they're more towards maneuver.
Right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who am I forgetting?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You got orcs.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oof,
we go into armies of legend or whatever, renown.
Orcs.
ONG.
ONG. OF and G.
It's definitely on that side of the pyramid.
Well, we know we're not anywhere near here.
No.
So let's move away from protection. I don't know. It's like you have your two builds, right? You have, man, I think it's almost a strike.
I think it's more strike.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I would play the best in Castle.
Especially with like the builds that are winning, which are mostly goblins, right? And you have your Doom Divers. Like I don't know anyone else besides Empire that could sit back like that, right?
They almost sit back better than Empire.
Yeah. Well, you have the wounds you can spare.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean,
cheaper models, cheaper wound count.
And then to me, nothing says strike like you about to charge my goblins and a bunch of fanatics come out and you get just handing out wounds on a stick, right? Like short range strike, but still, it's kind of a.
We're doing armies of infamy.
Yeah.
Legends.
Armies of legends, I guess, real quick, or do you want to stop it there?
They're bubbles and reds.
I mean, I think we stop here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty.
And I can church
Where
this.
does Cathay fall into this? That's gonna be the tricky one.
What?
Cathay.
Okay, yeah. Let's do that. That's good.
Where do we figure their theory is?
Where do we think Cathay is gonna be?
I think they're gonna be
protection and strike.
Protection.
No maneuver.
Strike. I don't think they're going to be maneuver. They look like every model they put out, aside from the blimp, looks like a movement 4 or less. Even the behemoths.
Yeah, even their cav looks like move 6 or 7 because it's just so armored.
And usually, like for some reason with GW, when you get these like low model count armies, which I'm assuming again this is going to be a low model count army, an elite low model count army, they don't like to make them fast.
No.
So we're gonna put them like in between Chaos and Empire.
I think it's gonna be a little more protection-y. I think it'll be
other side.
Yeah.
But the cannons, man.
Yeah, but that's how striky are they gonna be? Is that the only strike?
Okay.
It's like they almost want you to come to them to strike, so it's gonna have to be more protection.
I mean, every kit looks like it's to the 9s in armor.
True.
Yeah, they have fucking scarps of armor.
Yeah.
I think
they're gonna have infantry that countercharges. I've heard.
I'm gonna do something.
Yeah.
No.
No.
Yeah, I almost think like this. Honestly, if we're like, I almost think Cathay and Chaos, it's just gonna be good guys versus bad guys. Right?
I would put them a little lower, and then I think I would move Chaos up on strike and put Cathay there to just show a little more distance, because like. Not that high. Holy shit, where are you going?
Well, if you think about it, a chaos army. Yeah, no, okay, okay, yep.
Because I think
Because
Nate is right. Or I think you're right. Where it's chaos and Cathay are both sides of the same coin, or different sides of the same coin.
Yeah.
Which is weird because I don't know I don't understand what the answer for, or I don't understand what when it comes out. Holy fuck, the Kislev will be the answer for
the chaos getting to steamrolling them.
Well, what do you think Cathay is going to be the answer for?
chaos. Cathay has always been it has been the counter to chaos. They're just on.
They're going to counter them doing. So you can counter people two ways, right? You can counter them by doing what they don't do good better, or you can do the same thing but better.
So like in the lore, like they have this giant wall that blocks off the wastes, and it's literally like Chaos is the Mongols and Cathay is the Chinese. And so like I think that's why they're going to be a little more defensive, because.
But I guess instead of like outstriking and because instead of outstriking, outmaneuvering, right? Like so, if I'm gonna say if I want to make an antithesis of chaos, I might be over here, but we're gonna see something that's gonna be designed to fight chaos at chaos's own game of small unit count, except we can shoot and we might have cheaper cav.
I don't think Cathay will be cheaper. I really do not. I don't think Cathay will be cheaper at all.
Man, that cav's gonna smack though.
Mm-hmm.
And they got dragons. Like the more we talk about this, it's almost the same damn thing.
But like but again, like they're just so armored. Like in GW does like to stick to archetypes when they build their armies.
Yeah, I guess you don't have a horseman comparison, or you don't have. I'm sorry, you don't have a marauder comparison.
No, not yet. Not yet.
That we've seen.
Well, I think on the other side of the pyramid, where you were going with Cathay between the strike and maneuver, I think that will be where Kislev lands.
Yeah.
I don't even think so. See Kislev.
You don't think they'll see Kislev?
No, not in any year soon.
No, of course not. I mean, that's still in the design phase.
I mean, is it though? Like Cathay just showed up already battalion box. They can't.
Yeah, but apparently Cathay was ready like a year before Old World was announced. Yeah, so goes the rumor.
Yeah, but they can't even keep secret a Horus Heresy box 2 weeks before they're gonna show it off. Yet somehow they drop an entire army on us on Adepticon.
Yeah.
Like.
I mean, maybe it's because they know that Horus Heresy doesn't make money.
Okay, that's heresy.
Horus Heresy makes money. That shit sold out fast.
Mm-hmm. I mean, how many players do you see playing it in game stores?
No, that's not a metric. It's all the rich dentists that collect it that just sit in their houses or play in their basements.
Okay. And never touch it.
Don't have to touch it. Name. There's a great Lords of War did a great video about GW and just games and game designers in general. You know, especially when they're miniature companies too. Don't care if you play their games. If you buy their stuff and paint it, that's one of the shit. You can interact with them, right? Like,
if we're being honest, I think every miniature war game would love if people just bought their models and they didn't have to spend money to write rules. Right. I mean, let's be honest.
So what? I've been developing. I have my game that eventually I'll start producing once I figure out how to do that. Hopefully, these tariffs came down because Game Finder is super expensive right now. And I'm like really picky about it because I don't like every time I play it, I'm like, oh, I gotta tweak this, tweak that, and then I read like the rules update for Marvel Crisis Protocol, and I look at like a character like Magic and how like trash she's been for 4 or 5 years since she's been out, and everyone's just like meh, right? And it's like, oh man, yeah, these games do not care. Like there's a level that you can care, and then eventually, if enough eyes see it, it's just gonna be trash.
I mean, I think MCP is a worse metric because you don't have to build a player base nor a narrative. Like they're piggybacking off something that's been around since like the 20s.
Real quick. If you think of wargaming as the pyramid, right?
Yeah.
You got lore, models, rules.
Yep.
GW falls into lore and models. No rules.
It depends on the game. It depends on the game because I really feel like Old World and Horus. Hmm. No, never mind.
Adventure
Old
Space,
Horus
World
Heresy
has
did its
no
due.
a
rules,
good rule
no
set.
model, no lore.
Old World has a fantastic rule set,
No,
but
I agree.
GW had to get the writers from Lord of the Rings, which is also a rule set that is like praised in the wargaming community,
Like
to
that,
write it.
Lord of the Rings is one of the greatest fucking games you could play.
But that's what I
No
mean
one
is
plays.
like, imagine if the 40K writers and they were like, write Old World.
Yeah, but you don't have to
It'd
because
be
you
dog
sell it.
shit.
Yeah, we'd have a we would have we
Oh,
would
I see
worry
what you
about
did. You
cards
did it
that sell
backwards.
out
I
in
heard it. I heard
25
it the
seconds.
other way. Sorry, I'm also watching Dallas make a comeback against Edmonton, so we're gonna have to probably play the wrap up music on this.
Oh my god.
I mean, we're almost at an hour, guys. We're 55 minutes. This is
Oh, we
perfect
did make
timing.
a triangle.
See, I got
We did make a
bored.
triangle.
I got bored at the right time, right at 55 minutes, and I've already lost. No, but no, there is a point, right? And they're definitely leaning on this old nostalgia of older ways to play miniature games, right? And there's an old you can play old 40K, and old 40K right now is Horus Heresy with the 7th edition rules. And
So
Yeah,
hear
but
me out.
what Horus Heresy does is it lets you build lists where 40K and AOS do not let you build lists.
they
You
have
just pick
basically
units.
yeah, they have a more complicated, clunky version of what we have with Arcane Journals.
No. Here, look. I've got the perfect conspiracy theory here.
Yeah,
All right.
it's not
As
I gotta get a tinfoil hat.
as lore grows for the game, the rules get worse.
Yeah, 100%.
Age of Sigmar, when it was like could go in any direction. Age of Sigmar 3, fantastic. Now they started to write books, make lore about it. Age of Sigmar 4, dog shit. 40K, back in 7th, when we all kind of got into 40K or earlier than that,
Third,
it was very ambiguous,
thank you very
but
much.
the rules were fun. I'm not trying to hurt your feelings, old man.
Dude,
So I
don't
think
know,
that
though. I
like,
don't know if I would go back to like. Oh, Oilers scored.
but I just feel like okay, think
Yeah.
about the old world. As they got more divulged, more in depth into the lore, they ended the old world, or they ended Warhammer and destroyed it. And the rules for 8th edition were dog shit, absolute dog shit.
Okay, so like we have definitely hit garbage time. The backup quarterback's in. We're definitely like
Mhm.
stop watching or fast forward to the end so we get the full click. But I think we talked about this on the channel before of like they got what they wanted, I think, with Spearhead, which is what
A good
they
game.
thought. But they had to kill Old World. They had to do iterations of AOS to then find
Mhm.
like here, I can sell you a box. You're gonna use the models. They don't like they figured out how to like make a box with models that are all playable, and you can go
Yep.
have this bespoke experience, and then we can make it
Yep.
competitive, and then we can sell you rules. Like, how can you take the like
It's army in a
40K
box.
40K seasonal pack,
True army in a box.
which is a great model, but and
We
then
also
the stuff
like,
stays in stock, and yes, like
but
yes, like
so you also have to understand that like there's a huge boom right now in Asian markets, and the thing that Asian markets don't have compared to Western markets is space. And so it is idealized for them to focus on these smaller games
you would
that
argue
can be
Europe
played
too,
on a
as much
2x2
as
because they already have us by the fucking balls. Like, there's no point in my life,
America is
no matter
40K.
how mad I've gotten where I haven't played a GW game. We will continue to play GW games. But now they have
they're
a
the
new
best
market.
models.
Yeah, but now they have a new market. And so you have to cater to that market.
Well, I would like broaden that even more into the globe in the consumer of what you expect on a game experience, whether it's a board game, whether it's a miniature game, right? You have a very like space is always an issue. And
Mhm.
when we were more of a niche category when we all started in like 2003 and 2005 or whatever,
Yeah.
you could make these elaborate tables, elaborate setup. It's like we did with Bolt Action, right? We're a niche crew on a
Mhm.
niche crew playing historical World War II games. So
Well, you had to.
but I'm saying like Nate's spending all that time on a table and us putting the terrain underneath the felt, like that was appreciated, and that was like it was like nobody saw that as like a wasted effort, right? Like
No.
I'm okay taking an hour of my day setting up a bolt action table for Nate and I to then play a 3-4 hour game of bolt action. More people
Yeah,
are
but who
playing
has
games
3-4
now.
hours?
More people are playing games now, and more people want to play more games more often. So you get further away from that, right?
No,
Yeah.
you're right. Then that's why
You want to play one great game, or do you want to play three or four games in one
MCP.
sitting?
I went to Kansas City this weekend, and for 6 hours. I played 3 games of MCP. I played an MCP tournament basically against one of my friends, and we sat down and we drafted the characters, and we were done, and I'm like, I think if I did 2 games of 40K, I would be toasted mentally right now. Like I would have said
But
no to a second game of 40K. But and then
that's also like hitting on where we are as gamers. Like, no, think about when we all started playing. It took like 5 hours to get through a 2,000 point game.
yeah, I don't remember.
Now,
I think I did an official 2,000
but
point game for the first 10 years of wargaming, right?
that's what I mean. Like, I went to GTs that were 3 days to get 5 games in.
Yeah.
Like, and so I think that's another thing that like people forget is like as our attention span gets smaller and smaller, these games are going to be more and more compact.
Or the weekly tournament setup was really big in the old GW stores, right?
Yeah.
You would play your week, and then you play your one game, and the next week's the next round of the tournament, and the next week's and that was the way you did it, right? Like,
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine 3 games in one day for Old World, like space and also time, and after one game, I guess this was 6th edition, but yeah, no, I get
like
it.
the online tournaments format. It's like one game, one round a week. Play your game with whoever you're paired up against. Turn in your results. Get your next result on Monday. Move on.
Yeah, I would like to see the old school ladder come back. Remember at the gate?
I remember the ladders.
The ladders were dope. I thought the ladders were dope.
And then people would make cool custom fucking little nameplates for everybody.
Yeah. I would like to see the ladders come back. Like whatever, list lock, don't list lock. Actually, don't list lock because then you can just what the other guy has, and you're locked. If you're on the ladder, you're locked. If you're a lower level on the ladder, I think you can change. But
I think that's why us three are passionate about it, is because we started this hobby when online wasn't an option. And let's be honest, if we were new getting into this and it was Warhol, Warhol is a cool program. I don't think I'll ever play Warhol against somebody I haven't played on a table. Because
you don't have the brain capacity to do that. No, I agree.
Well, it's that, but it's also there's so many moments that are social bonding moments when you're at a table
100%.
both with armies that you've both painted and you're both passionate enough to put enough time in to get to this point. Where Warhol, it's I'll be honest, man. If I didn't play with y'all, and then let's say I was gonna play Nate tomorrow, and I never met Nate. And Nate and I are going to do the rules hammer thing to each other, that is going to be a miserable fucking experience because I don't know Nate.
Yeah.
And that doesn't change how we play the game. We're both going to try to hump the rule book.
Yeah.
But I could tell you if that happened and I didn't know Nate, I'd be I don't ever want to play you again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, in Old World, unlike any other game, in my opinion, right now that you can play, I can play a game against someone who's never played before, and they're basically on autopilot. I can play their army for them and ask them meaningful questions what do you want to do with these guys? Move them up, right? And be okay, move them up 7 inches. They don't have to know March, right? Or they don't have to know the intricacies of the order, but it feels like a game more than others where we can have a conversation and I can coach you through what you're doing, and you feel like you're making meaningful decisions and meaningful moves, and you never played this game before. Where it's 40K, it's I don't know, check the data sheet and then get the other piece of paper and then how many CPs you have. Everything you need for Warhammer Fantasy or for Warhammer Old World is in the game, right? It's on the table.
50% of the game is played before you even start rolling dice.
It's displayed on the table, right? All the assets are displayed on the table. Yeah, you have magic, but
it's always the other. Whenever you want to get somebody into a game, the first thing I tell people is you need to have painted armies, and the second thing is you need to roll dice as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the selling point, and I feel that's what 40K has fallen away from.
Yeah.
I feel
I was watching
40K and AOS have distanced themselves from the part of the game where it was just go forward, hit each other, have fun.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because you get
it's about
these secondary objectives where you need to have a point on the board so that you have a section of your list that's dedicated to just running around sitting on buttons. Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I drew this card. I have to go to your corner edge to touch the corner.
I was looking at pictures of the Dallas Open, I think they call it, this weekend, right? And like
Yeah.
whatever. I'm not trying to like poo-poo other people's cereal. I like 40K. I like the lore,
I
but
like 40K. I like playing
play games.
40K.
Go play games. Like I want people to play games. I don't want to sound like a gatekeeper, but like oh my god, there was so many unpainted armies at the in the pictures of the
Oh
Dallas
yeah.
GT.
I
Well,
don't
you
like
have
that.
to because the meta's changing so fast.
I
You can't
know,
even
I
paint your
know.
shit.
No, I think that's the point. I don't even blame the player. I would sit
Yeah.
back as a game designer if my job was to care about this, because I guess I can be a game designer who's not designed to care about this. I'm designed to make sure models, right? Like you have, it's like politics, right? So like if you're a politician, so real quick, bear with me. If you're a politician, it's two-level politics. You have the politics of your people, and then you have global politics. And you got to balance global politics with also the politics of your people to continue to get reelected, right? Like,
Mhm.
Yeah.
can we understand that? Um, I think that is very similar as a game designer, especially in these bigger games, in these bigger companies. You have corporate level pressure to produce a game that makes more models, that keep people interested, that's constantly changing, so you're constantly selling things. But then you have bottom up pressure from the gamers who just want to play a good game. And game designers, especially in these bigger companies, I don't envy that position, right? Like,
Yeah.
Nope.
and I feel like in GW, if I'm game designing for GW, there is probably a meter where I'm allowed to care about the rules, and then I'm just accepting this is where it is. At the end of the day, people are rolling dice and having fun, and the company's making money, right? Like there's still
Hmm.
goodness in that. But like I don't know, like we
I
all
mean,
grew up around Hard Boys era where you're not showing up with a not painted army, right?
exactly.
You're just not like I sped
I
paint. I like recovered from a neck surgery. Now I'm not bragging. I'm just like I made an army list that I knew I could paint just so I can have a fully painted dwarf army, right? I didn't
Yep.
play
I
like a bigger army because I'm like, nope, I'm showing up with painted armies. I'm not having people meet me for the first time without painted, and that's just me, right? Like I just put that on me
well,
because
I just like I remember when I was 14 going to like my first GT, and my dad and I sat down and for 8 hours went to bed at like 4 in the morning. We spent 8 hours painting 60 spearmen for my Empire army that were not painted,
hell yeah,
and it was just like, but that's kind of what you did though. Like you put a lot of thought and effort into your list, then you bought the models for that list, or then you made the list around the models and you painted it,
yep,
and then you played with it.
yep,
Where 40K, while I like again, 40K is a fun game, competitively it's not. And it's at the point like you said where people are just buying lists to play them, not painting. And yeah, that's good for GW as a company because it allows them to make games like Old World,
yep.
where we're now buying 20 nights for $80, which it used to be
Yeah,
fucking 3 nights for like $20.
yeah.
And so like
We're living,
to that
we're
extent,
living good. We're living good off the back of 40K. Keep 40K and
yeah,
Sigmar forever because we're living good. If we become a main
exactly.
game, we're fooked.
Oh, exactly. As soon as named characters start to get dropped in the lore books for Old World, you're gonna see this shift away from list
This is
building that we
tinfoil though.
have now.
This is tinfoil.
Well,
Tinfoil
well, no, I
section.
mean, I truly do think that you're gonna see a shift from list building we have now and more importance on named characters and armies.
But
Which
even when name characters were big in sixth, seventh, eighth, like uh, fantasy
the
players
archetype,
always poo on name
well, the
characters.
archetype was definitely the archetype was never one like 40K, where if you're running world leaders, you have to have Angron.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
like
it was never like that.
no one. We've never ran name characters. Name
But like,
characters have never been a thing.
and like, so I'm weird right now. I'm in a weird spot, right? Because I'm doing Death Guard for 30K, and I picked up Death Guard for 40K, and I bought Mortarion for both, right? Because like, as a 2003 third edition player, I don't even think I knew who Mortarion was because I don't think we even talked about like the Primarchs that fell that were bad guys. But the idea of a Primarch leading the battlefield, like the fact the Lion's back, like
Laughable.
12-year-old me is losing his mind right now.
But
That
it's
happened.
it's
But
laughable to the game though.
yeah, no,
You
I understand that. So like I want to play with Mortarion, right? However, when I look at my list in 40K specifically, like Mortarion in 30K, he like jumps around, he does his own thing. He's a tank, right? He doesn't necessarily enable my army to play a certain play style. Mortarion in 40K feels like if I want my army to play a certain play style, I need Mortarion, right?
well, it's
And if they
it's
take
it's not
Mortarion
even
out of the list, I have a systemic different army than I would. Like I couldn't run that army the way I want to do without Mortarion. Does that make
Well,
sense? Like
it's not even it's even more than that, because if you take Mortarion out, you will not win a game, and that is how 40k,
well
the
that
meta of
until
40k
well
has
yeah
evolved.
yeah. I would argue
If
you
you don't
still
have
can
Shadow Sun,
because Death Guard haven't gotten their balance update yet. But
well, it's not
once their
just Death
balance
Guard
update
though.
comes, but I get it though. With World Eaters, if you're not running Karn, you're not running Angron, like you're playing at a deficit.
Wait, if you're not running the Silent King with Necrons, you're playing at a
Yeah,
deficit.
yeah,
If you're not running
yeah.
Lehman, or not Lehman Russ, but the Lion, you're at a deficit. Like if you're not running an Avatar Kane, you're at a deficit.
Who made up the names for these guys?
The people in the
Yes.
80s. I mean,
Jesus Christ,
My
they got
Dark
to work.
Angel, we all know that's a joke off of 14th century monk who wanted to bang his monk brother. That was the secret.
Yep.
GW changed that.
Well, they didn't change it.
No, like, well, it's no longer hinted at it. Where what's his name? It was
I
the
think it's
Lion.
still
His real name,
Lionel
Lionel Johnson.
Johnson.
It's a play on,
Lion L.
again,
Johnson.
this.
Well, Lion L. Johnson is Lionel, like Lionel Richie, Lionel Messi. The
It's
guy's
a
name
play on a gay monk from the 14th century who wrote
was it
wrote
the
a
14th
book called
century?
My Dark Secret.
Was it the 14th century?
I think it was the 14th
I
century.
think this is beyond the
And
scope.
it was called My Dark
This is
Secret.
beyond. I've decided this is beyond the scope of this. But no, yes.
But
Just
Yeah,
like
reel it in, Seth. We're not
no,
talking
no,
about
you asked where the names come from,
no,
but
no.
that's
But
like
the point
you had the
is,
Rainbow Marines that came from a British protest in the 80s.
but
Like,
I can see your point, Seth, in that the quote unquote glory days, and maybe we call them the glory days because they're so far past us, were this stuff was all being made up, right?
Yeah, it was a joke.
The lore wasn't. I wouldn't say it was a joke, but you needed to be. You can only be so creative. Some things need to be derivative, right?
There
And
was a
some people
level of
don't
like.
wanna- some people don't want to hear
There's
that, but some things
No,
have to be
yeah,
derivative because everything's an iteration off of something that's already existed. So like,
exactly.
we need quick. I need like 18 Space Marine legions. Like you and I, if we're put in a room and we're making a game, we're gonna go through pretty quick, and whatever's on our
Yeah.
mind or whatever we think of. But then as the years go on, lore builds around these very clay ideas, right? Like very moldable ideas. So now you're 40 years deep in the 40k. So you're saying now that we're 40 years deep, that's why the game sucks because we have so much
No,
lore.
no. I'm saying that they've gotten to the point where lore is selling the models. It's
Okay,
not
okay.
the lore.
Oh,
And so
100%
because
agree.
lore sells the models, they are writing rules in which you are pushing these huge lore characters into the game to where those are the only archetypes you can play at a competitive level.
I can't speak on competitive level, but I know I bought Mortarion smiling that I just bought one of the Fallen Primarchs because 13-year-old me was like, I didn't know this existed.
Oh no, I've bought almost all of the Primarchs because they're cool fucking models.
Yeah.
But what frustrates me is that I have to have
But it impacts the game. You can't make
yeah.
lists without
well, to play Sisters of Battle, I have to have the Triumph of St. Catherine.
Yeah.
I have to take it.
All right. So,
And that's just where we're at.
And yeah, that is where we're
What
at.
was that game that came out in the early 2000s, maybe late 90s? It was just like those big 54 millimeter models.
Inquisitor.
That's like basically what fucking 40k's turned into, because it's just like
Was
just
it
get your
Inquisitor?
Primarch and fucking yeah. It's like
It was Inquisitor.
40k's
Inquisitor
Yeah.
was the RPG game.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do
40K's
great. I'm gonna do great TV. I'm gonna walk away and I'm gonna grab something.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
40K
it
is
was.
Inquisitor. Yeah.
Well, now you have the Joy-Con stuff.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, because you could just like you could think of it that way, because like you have to bring a Primarch. That's your Inquisitor fucking model, and like basically the models around it are wounds.
yeah, exactly.
So
Mm-hmm.
I think this
Like
can be
just
an episode in itself, and I actually wrote
cutting
an
it.
article about it relating to military theory for my day job. But so during COVID I collected all. Oh, you can't see this, but everyone else can. I collected all the magazines for Fanatic. Right, so people were dumping, everything during COVID. So I have all 10 issues of Fanatic. I'm missing 3 issues of War Master, the War Master Journal, and I have a couple issues of Battlefleet Gothic. That was a really hard one to find. But I focused on Fanatic. right? Because this was at a time, I think this was the heyday, right? This is 2003, 2004. It was around for a
Yeah.
year, and then it fell off. And wargaming's cyclical, I guess, is the only.
Yeah.
Wargaming and life and everything is cyclical. And I think it's the first episode. It even says here, right? Fanatics, issue 1 for veteran gamers. Right? And in this thing, we're talking about Mordheim, we're talking about Inquisitor, we're talking about War Master, and we're talking about Epic. And Blood Bowl, dear Lord. I did not forget about Blood Bowl. Right? And there's great stuff in there, but you are expected to come into this magazine with a higher level of understanding of A, how war games work, and B, just you're playing a game to play. The purpose of the game is to play.
Yeah.
Right? The purpose of a game can't be to win. Because if the purpose of the game is to win 50% of the time you're doing it, every time you play, someone is playing for no reason because someone's losing. Right? Yeah. So the purpose is play. And that's for sports, that's for everything. And I feel like reading these the editorials in the very front, Andy Hall has a really good one in the first episode. I mean, we can do whole episodes on these old Fanatics magazine because it's just Storm of Chaos, man. This one is talking about the War Master and how to play War Master with the Storm of Chaos campaign, and it's just iconic because there's like a level of maturity, I guess, is what I'm getting at, that's expected if you're playing one of these games in the Fanatic magazine. And I think we've cycled. I mean, absolutely. I think we've cycled back to that. I think Horus Heresy has been leaning on that heavily for the last couple of years, and then we got lucky enough that we relaunched Old World, and there's definitely a level of
same writers though,
gatekeeper and say veteran or whatever. But you're just...
I don't want to call it gatekeeping because like I agree with the Fanatic article where it's the point is to play, but the reason I do it is community building.
Yeah.
Because some of my best friends, you two included, I've met through playing these games, and I remember being some little 14-year-old kid in a game store with no idea the scope of what I was getting into.
Yep.
And people that were way older than me were just so genuinely nice and held my fucking hand to help me understand the hobby. And I think that is at least for me, that's the main point. I want to see younger generations get into this hobby that we all enjoy. And it's not because it's going to benefit me, but it's because of the benefit this game and games like this have had in my life.
Yeah,
and I think
that makes sense. It makes sense why you're the way you are. You had old men holding your hand when you were 14.
Yeah, dude. I mean,
all right. So with that, thank you for listening, watching. You probably didn't make it this far, but if you did, don't forget, tip your waitresses and don't comp your tournaments. There it is.
That's right.